Today I am going to do a straight up review of a perfume that was released in 2019 from the designer Celine. This video is about nightclubbing. So just a couple of things out the way first. Nightclubbing, as mentioned, was released in 2019. The perfumer who is credited with its composition is unknown, or at least I couldn't find it anyway. And these perfumes are not cheap. So in Australia, you can get a 100ml or a 200ml bottle, with the 100ml retailing for 495 Australian dollars. And not that a price would ever stop me from doing a review of a perfume. In the past, normally this would have stopped me from even considering buying a bottle. But I got to tell you, nightclubbing has put a little bit of a spell on me. Okay, so before I get into how it smells, I need to set this up because I can be, and I'm not sure about you guys, I can be a little bit of a sucker when it comes to being suggestible in terms of reading about a perfume inspiration brief or even the name. So the nightclubbing name, even before I smelled it, I kind of had a certain expectation of what it might smell like. And obviously I went to look at the note pyramid, and even then the note pyramid didn't help too much. There is, in order of what I smell, orris, musk, there is some kind of moss, galbanum, and then just a tiny hint of vanilla in the base. So the reason I mention being susceptible to falling for a story when it comes to a perfume, nightclub is to me made up in two parts. There is this clean and prettying up in the opening, and it reminded me so much because I was thinking about nightclubbing many years ago when I was a young man. A regular occurrence would be that my friends and I would, on a weekly basis, head out and literally go to clubs like probably millions of people have done before. And there was always this kind of ritual or routine that happened beforehand. We were young guys, obviously wanting to make an impression, and it would mean that we were well groomed, we were preening and trying to smell good and looking good. And the opening of nightclubbing, when you smell, I'm going to spray some on, but when you smell the opening, it's all prettiness. It's all lovely preening, because the main notes that I smell are this very clean, not too earthy orris with a equally clean musk. And that combination, you conjure up images of the clean musk being soapy, you're fresh, you're got new clothes on and you're out of the shower, and the orris part would represent that getting yourself ready, hair product, makeup for women, and just generally going above and beyond your regular daily grooming. And this is all about potential for the night ahead. And what I love about nightclubbing is that it starts off like that, and it really kind of takes you on into a long journey, into one of those nights where you're full of excitement at the beginning, and you go out to the club, and then about 10 minutes in, you're in the club. And I can this orris gets actually I don't want to say dirty because it's not dirty, but it suddenly takes on this kind of really velvety texture that takes you into a dark interior that probably doesn't get cleaned very much, but the velvety texture is accumulated dust and the patina of cigarette smoke and other bodily odors, and it really takes on this kind of darker character about 10 to 15 minutes in. And so far, this perfume is really taking you on a journey. And then it really doesn't change much. Or no, what I should say is that it does change eventually when you get into the deep dry down, but it really takes a long time to change. And like it's almost like this evolution of getting excited to be going out in the early evening. You then have the night of fun and dancing, smoking, drinking. You're having a good time, and then all of a sudden you look at your clock, you look at your watch, and you realize that once you step outside, there's the cold, harsh light of the morning sun. And this is the deep dry down. And I don't want to make out like it's a bad thing. It just really has this sort of character evolution as it dries down onto your skin. So what does that smell like? So I mentioned the clean musk and the orris in the opening. And then it kind of gets velvety and dusty. And I think at some point it's starting to blend with this mossy and galbanum note. The galbanum on my skin doesn't come off too green, but it does add this bitterness. And a lot of people, quite a bit's been made about the cigarette smoke accord in here. As someone who has smoked before, who's been a smoker, it's definitely not the smell of a dirty ashtray. It's more it does remind you of someone who has just lit up their first cigarette at the bar, having a drink, and music's pumping and everything's good. So it's a smell that you kind of just expect to be there and part of the furniture, and it's really seeped into the furniture the way this perfume sort of paints a picture of a dark interior for you. And then right at the end, it kind of just starts to get a little dry. The vanilla here doesn't really come to the fore for me. It really is just there to sort of, it feels like it's holding the whole thing together. Maybe the vanilla is your drunken recollection of how good a night it was when it really wasn't that good. But the long and the short of it is that it's one of my favorite Orris perfumes, period. And as some of you might know, I'm not a big fan of Orris in general. Not that I don't love it, I don't like the ingredient. I just have never really gelled that well with these perfumes. But this one, in combination with those more bitter, green, darker, ashy elements of the oak moss and the galbanum, I really like the musk in the opening as well. Just presents itself as quite a unique, if not loud, but subtle perfume. Now, it's lasted well over 7 hours on my skin. I can still smell it from earlier today. It projects okay, maybe a feet or two away from your body, but it's not a loud perfume. And even though it's called Nightclubbing, this is no club banger. This has definitely got a subtle sensuality to it, but it takes you on a journey, and it's kind of why I've connected with this perfume. Now, having said all of that, I really do have this on my bottle wish list, and I've never paid the price that I would have to pay for a bottle of Celine's Nightclubbing, but I think it might happen as soon as I finish this sample, because I'm kind of entranced by this perfume, and I really love it. And it is definitely my favorite from all the ones I've sampled from Celine. Maybe definitely ahead of Black Tie, which is probably my next favorite, and maybe Reptile. So if you guys have tried other ones from this line, let me know in the comments what you think about them, what you think about Nightclubbing. I hope I've painted a not too personal picture of this perfume, because I really do want you to get a sense of what it smells like as well. But sometimes perfumes need to be a little bit more than just how they smell. I'm always advocating for making sure that it's something that, if you really are going to be spending this much money, that it needs to connect with you on some level, but you're going to smell excellent anyway. So that's my review of Nightclubbing by Celine from 2019, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon for another video. Bye for now.